Hi, thank you all for joining us on Dyslexia's Deal Session 2. A was for alt last time, but today A is going to be for anchor. Can't wait to start over here for our beautiful, most wonderful, most glorious children that some of us are connected to or have the privilege to know or just get a touch of, and don't end that word with touch of, in different kinds of scenarios. So today it's going to be A is for anchor. So we're going to just take the letter A and explore dyslexia through the alphabet because it's just so rich and powerful. And if I would just go through, my book as I'm writing it with the synapses that snap and all that kind of stuff, then you might get a little bored. So we're going to go just like in that kind of way, that sort of like how dyslexia's minds work. Those kids with dyslexia, it comes out when it wants to, but doesn't when you don't want it to. So it's in a language form, but when it's not in the midst of language and talking and you want to just pull it out, it doesn't come out. So instead of just pulling stuff out, we're just going to talk and let the understanding of what dyslexia means flow for you. So A could be for a lot of different things over here, but we're going to start with A is for anchor because we're going to start with the A could say obviously. So anchor, and I just thought of that right now, anchor. So anchor can mean a lot of things in terms of dyslexia. Let's look at one of them. Anchor, A is for anchor. So basically, kids with dyslexia have an anchor. Their anchor, I would say, is their ability to compensate and use language in the most rich way possible and just suddenly just fly a word out there that you honestly don't know where it came from. I mean, with some kids, you know where it comes from. With them, it's like, is that an option or something like, oh, look, you could see I'm going to have retrieval issues, but like for the moon, oh, you could see the crescent over there. So, or that would be something that would work out for you. So they say these words that just leave you stumbling where it came from. So their anchor is their ability to charm with those kinds of words to make it that they want to tell you something and they want to share, and they're showing you just a taste of who they really are. Because as we know, the definition of dyslexia is being able to have like this super high language skills, intuition, and usually early talkers too, by the way. We're not talking about a language issue here, as we were telling you. So it's the super high language skills, and within those high language skills, there's discrepancies going on with the idea of this funny thing that happens called reading, which is not part of the brain's dynamics for them, that they don't osmosis into that reading idea. And we'll discuss more about that later. So their anchor is their ability to hold on to that language. Now, let's discuss the word anchor. Why isn't it anchor? While we're doing dyslexia stuff, we get into language a little bit. Why isn't it anchor? Because, core. I like that one, core. We get into the core idea, the core needs of these cutie pies. And if you find out it's just been phenomenal, but through no fault of my own, after doing, the 5-minute little get to know you sessions with zillions of kids, I've actually begun to find that if you do certain games with them, little 2-second games, I just find it amazing. You're going to find that kids with dyslexia all answer the same thing for this 2-second game. And that literally puts you at the brink of knowing that it's dyslexia. And they will all answer that same answer. And even if they, for some reason, answer it wrong, they'll fix it to be the dyslexia answer. And I'm not kidding you. They'll literally fix it, and it will be that answer. And if they have dyslexia and ADHD, I find that ADHD wins, although the dyslexia will come out a little bit. I won't be sure which answer to do. So the ADHD has an answer too. So as you know, dyslexia looks different for each kid. But in terms of core, there is a core way of their brain working that's different in terms when it comes to looking at words and trying to use their language in that kind of way, in that straight kind of way where they have to pull out. So it's going to look different for them because of a lot of reasons. So that's the core part. Now, moving on. Why is A for alt? By the way, we never got to that. So A is for alt. Alt is something that you push a button, you push it on the computer, and it always has to be with something else. It's also an abbreviation, perhaps, alt. And I had another thing for it. Oh, you have to hold it down. Oh, I love that one. So you have to hold the alt key down. So for our cutie pies, they need to hold it down to get it. So they need to be able to hold down their those uniqueness of those sounds. We're going to go into one of their issues. Sounds for them is like they sort of flow together in a certain way when kids have dyslexia. So they need to be able to hold down that uniqueness before you even touch real words. So the sound itself needs to be unique. Now, how many of you ever had or watched, now that we're all homeschooling and watching our teachers, have ever watched the teacher basically say to a kid that they should look again when they get it wrong and they say co instead of Q in Hebrew or English? And you're like, okay, why should I look again? Because I don't get it. So really what's going on is that they don't understand that with a lot of these kids, of course, they know that the dot on top is a certain sound, but the sounds to them, ooh, oh, ah, ooh, they don't have the same meaning. And you'll notice that a lot of times in language, they won't realize what they're saying. When they say something, like, I said that. You'll be like, you didn't say that. Why didn't you say that? Like, oh, I did say that. So they're sort of thinking they're saying something they didn't say, or they're like function words and words that have something that you can't touch. They won't know them in the same kind of way or remember them in the same kind of way. So we're moving off topic. So therefore, alt is about pushing down the sound and holding on to it in a different kind of way. And we'll get into that if you move on here with us. So they need to hold it down, literally push it down into its meaningful uniqueness so that nothing else could enter it or be around it that looks a little similar. So you know how like in school they teach the similar things? Okay, this is beige, this is vase, this is B, this is D. This is F, this is V, but really F and V are, those are two very similar sounds. You do not want to teach them together necessarily. Or, you know, ah, oh. Okay, guys, let's see the difference between an ah and an ah. Okay, guys, there you go. And this is the ah, and that's the ah. Got it? No, I don't get it. My whole life now, I'm going to confuse ah and ah just because you taught it like that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Now, most kids could do it that way, and they just flow through it because they're the osmosis type of kids. But when you teach unique sounds in a very ununique way, you're going to really ununique these kids. So you have to push down that alt. And while we're at it, alt could also mean one more thing. We push it down, and then you have to do it with something else. Ooh. So not only does alt have to be unique, but the kids themselves have to feel that uniqueness was something that they could own. It has to be unique in their own way. They could either visualize it or own it or see it in their head. So it means something unique for them. Now we did A is for alt and A is for anchor. So we got A and A, but we didn't A and aw. Hey, wait, why does A say aw? Oh, before the L it says aw. There you go. So we learned something about that. By the way, if you would say anchor, then you're putting the emphasis on core, which emphasis is a very crazy important thing. So that's, by the way, why it's spelled with the O. And core. So we do a little discovery about each word. Alt, A-L always says all. Aw is another form of ah. We're going to be talking about it more, but that's just something little tidbits for you to know. And then we have A is for, we need an A sound. A is for, let's see, ape. Ooh, an ape. An ape is a good one. So an ape, they say that like for an ape, the most unique form and the most unique situation that Jane Goodall found, you know, whatever, was that they can basically they can use tools. You know, they found that chimpanzees can use tools to do something. And that's like, wow, cool, you know, above the rest of the kingdom, although so could our little bird outside. So I don't agree with that. So they can use tools to be able to create. So for our little cutie pies, they need tools for what to do when the word doesn't work out, when they're reading it. So you can't just say, sweetie pie, what does it say? No, I didn't hear you. What? Wait, you need to say that one. What the hell does that say? You need to be able to give them the tools for what to do when they don't know a word. Not, I don't know you. I don't know it. Sorry. It's okay. So if you don't know it, what letters do you not know in that word? So if the word is, you know, for example, ape, and you say, I don't know it, you say, okay, what do you not know? So it looks strange because there's an E at the end. And that is how they would explain their problem. If the word is anchor. Yeah, sure. They say, I don't know what to do when there's an O-R there. And why is there a C-H? So they'll be able to tell you basically what's bothering them about the word. So that would be That would be our APE, our tool. Another tool would be, what do you do when it doesn't work out and it doesn't make sense? Or what do you do when you come to where that, like, that you sort of don't even know how to approach? And sort of, what does it mean? Oh, no, not yet. You have to ask someone else. Sort of like, what does it mean? Oh, Mary, okay, fine. So what does it mean to read in general? So there, okay. Yeah, sure. So therefore, let me get that for you. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is reading in general needs tools to be able to function and to be able to make, here we go, make a difference in it. So I don't believe in phonics by itself or anything by itself. I believe that these kids need a combination of strategies in order to function right away. And yes, they should be able to read strange. We're not going for any little route that they have to read this, they have to read that. They have to have a way to be able to approach language in general. So those are my 3 A's. Did we discover APE? APE is, that I don't go for silent E, by the way. The way APE is spelled is APE. Can you visualize that? What's first? A. Good. What's the last sound? E. I want you to picture the E in the red. Got it? Okay, good. The E is red. And give me a word that rhymes with ape. Oh, tape. Woohoo. Tape. Good one. It starts with it's a very good tape. And so you're picturing that E in red. So I want you to tell me the second letter of that word. That's right. Very good. So the only way you could test picturing, by the way, is not really writing it in the air and all that la 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 tra la la stuff, but sort of saying, what color was that P? Gosh, you guys are getting such tools over here. Just grab onto them and do some of these. And this is what you're grabbing on and taking. Next time your child learns a new word, ask them what color one of the letters is and write it in the air. Don't just write it in the air. Ask them to see what color it is. Put it in one side of the room or on one side of the paper or somewhere on their shirt or under your bed. And that word is always going to be there. So that is our first session of what you could take with you with the word ape. And do we have a quick video for you? Not yet. And I'll see you all later. And if I do not get more than 17 views, let me just tell you, we are not going on again. And I would like to see some views. And like, if you don't subscribe, you're not going to know when I'm doing this, so you'll miss out. So subscribing is really the most important thing. And by the way, it's not subscribe, it's subscribe. That's another thing. Knowing how it sounds like I never knew it was subscribe. Yeah, I had form dyslexia and all that. So the word is subscribe, and make sure to subscribe right now. Just push it down, that red button. Thank you for joining. And every Sunday night we'll be with you. Just subscribe. Got it? And